Richard Carter freezes as the nanny's voice whispers through his laptop speakers. On the screen, she kneels beside his 8-year-old son's bed, her hand stroking the boy's fevered forehead. The sweet scent of vanilla candles fills his home office, but her words chill him to the bone. Soon, little one, very soon. The timestamp shows 11:47 p.m., 3 hours after she claimed Tommy was sleeping peacefully. Before we begin, tell me where you're listening from, and tap subscribe so you never miss a story. Richard's fingers tremble as he rewinds the security footage for the third time. The leather chair creaks beneath him as he leans closer to the monitor. His Rolex shows 6:15 a.m. He's been watching these recordings all night. "This can't be right," he whispers to the empty office. The footage shows Maria Sullivan entering Tommy's room at 11:30 p.m. She moves like a ghost through the moonlit hallway. Her white nursing shoes make no sound on the hardwood floors. The boy's labored breathing fills the audio feed. "Daddy hired you to take care of you, and I will, forever and always." Maria's voice comes through crystal clear. Richard's coffee mug slips from his grip. The ceramic shatters against the marble floor, brown liquid spreading like blood. Tommy has been fighting pneumonia for 2 weeks. The doctors said he needs constant monitoring. That's why Richard installed the cameras. That's why he hired the best nanny money could buy. "What does she mean by forever?" he asks the screen. Maria's reflection catches in the bedroom mirror. Her smile looks different in the infrared light. Predatory. Hungry. Richard's heart pounds as he reaches for his phone. The memory hits Richard like a sledgehammer as he stares at Maria's frozen image. 2 weeks ago, his assistant handed him a stack of resumes. Tommy's fever had spiked to 104 degrees. The hospital released him, but the doctors warned Richard about complications. "I need someone immediately," Richard had told the agency. "Money is no object." Maria's credentials were flawless. 20 years of pediatric nursing, glowing references from 3 wealthy families, a spotless background check. She arrived within hours, carrying a leather medical bag and speaking in soothing tones. "Your son will be in excellent hands, Mr. Carter," she had promised. Now, Richard fast-forwards through yesterday's footage. Maria feeds Tommy his medicine at precisely 2 p.m. She reads him stories at 4 p.m. She prepares his dinner at 6 p.m. Everything appears normal until the late-night visits. Frame by frame, he watches her enter Tommy's room after midnight. She sits beside his bed for hours, whispering words the audio can't capture. "What are you really doing to my son?" Richard's voice echoes in the silent office. The deadline burns in his mind. Tommy's next doctor appointment is scheduled for 3 p.m. today. 12 hours to decide if Maria stays or goes. 12 hours to figure out who this woman really is. Richard's home security system chirps as the front door opens. He minimizes the video feed and listens to Maria's footsteps in the foyer below. Her keys jingle against the marble table. The elevator hums as she rides to the 3rd floor. "Good morning, Tommy. How are we feeling today?" Her voice drifts through the intercom system. Tommy's weak response barely registers through the speakers. Richard cranks the volume higher. His son sounds exhausted, more tired than usual. The boy's words slur together like he's heavily medicated. "That's okay, sweetheart. Rest is important for healing." Richard's blood runs cold. He prescribed Tommy's medication schedule himself. 2 pills every 8 hours, no more, no less. But Maria's medical bag contains dozens of bottles, some labeled, others unmarked. She could be giving Tommy anything. "I need to protect my boy," Richard mutters. He pulls up Maria's employment contract on his computer. The document grants her full medical authority during her shifts. Richard signed it without reading the fine print. His hands shake as he scrolls through the legal language. Phrases like comprehensive care and necessary interventions blur together. The intercom crackles again. "Mr. Carter, are you awake? Tommy would like to see you."
Richard's finger hovers over the reply button. The nursery door stands half open when Richard reaches the third floor. Sunlight streams through gauze curtains, casting everything in soft gold. Tommy lies propped against silk pillows, his pale face turned toward the window. Maria sits in the rocking chair, knitting needles clicking rhythmically. "Daddy!" Tommy's voice is barely a whisper. "Maria says I'm getting better." Richard kneels beside the bed and presses his palm to Tommy's forehead. The fever has broken, but the boy's skin feels clammy. Dark circles ring his eyes. His breathing comes in shallow gasps. "The medicine is working beautifully," Maria says without looking up from her knitting. "He slept like an angel last night." "Did he?" Richard's gaze locks onto hers. "The whole night?" "Oh yes, peaceful as a church mouse from 8 o'clock on." The lie hits Richard like a physical blow. The security footage clearly shows Maria entering Tommy's room at 11:30 p.m. She stayed until dawn, whispering and stroking the boy's hair. Either she's lying or something darker is happening. "I should let you both rest," Richard says carefully. Tommy's small hand grabs his wrist. "Don't go, Daddy. Stay with us." Maria's knitting needles stop clicking. The sudden silence fills the room like thick smoke.
Dr. Patricia Grant's heels click against the hospital corridor as she approaches Richard's private office. Her white coat billows behind her like wings. The pediatrician's face shows concern as she reviews Tommy's latest blood work. "These results are troubling, Richard," she says, settling into the leather guest chair. "Tommy's white cell count is elevated beyond normal ranges." Richard's coffee tastes bitter on his tongue. "What does that mean exactly?" "It could indicate an infection we haven't identified yet. Or," Dr. Grant pauses, choosing her words carefully, "it might suggest he's being over-medicated." The words hang in the air like a death sentence. Richard's mind races back to Maria's medical bag, all those unmarked bottles, all those midnight visits, all those whispered promises. "I need you to run a comprehensive toxicology screen," Richard says, "today." "That's quite extensive testing. What aren't you telling me?" Richard pulls up the security footage on his phone. Dr. Grant's expression hardens as she watches Maria enter Tommy's room. The timestamp clearly shows 11:47 p.m. The audio captures Maria's whispered words about forever and always. "How long has this been happening?" Dr. Grant asks. "Every night for 2 weeks." Dr. Grant closes the phone and stands abruptly. Her medical bag snaps shut with finality. The pediatric lab buzzes with activity as technicians prepare Tommy's blood samples. Richard watches through the observation window while Dr. Grant explains the testing procedures. Tommy sits bravely in the examination chair, his small arm extended for the needle. "Will this hurt, Daddy?" Tommy asks. "Just a tiny pinch, buddy. Then we'll know how to help you feel better." Maria stands in the corner, her hands clasped behind her back. Her usual warm smile has vanished. Cold calculation fills her eyes as she watches the blood flow into collection tubes. She hasn't spoken since Dr. Grant announced the toxicology screening. "These tests seem excessive," Maria finally says. "Tommy's responding well to his current treatment plan." Dr. Grant doesn't look up from her clipboard. "That's for me to determine, Miss Sullivan. Of course, I simply meant that additional stress might compromise his recovery." The subtle threat in Maria's voice makes Richard's skin crawl. He moves closer to Tommy's chair, placing a protective hand on the boy's shoulder. The child feels so fragile beneath his palm, so vulnerable. "Daddy, why is everyone so worried?" Tommy whispers. Richard forces a smile. "We're not worried, son. We're being careful." But Maria's reflection in the medical cabinet glass tells a different story. Her eyes burn with quiet fury as she watches the last blood sample fill. The hospital cafeteria smells like disinfectant and overcooked vegetables. Richard sits across from Dr. Grant at a corner table, pushing scrambled eggs around his plate. Neither has touched their food. The toxicology results won't be ready for 6 hours. "Tell me about this Nanny," Dr. Grant says quietly. "How did you find her?" "Elite childcare services. They specialize in high-end medical support." "I've never heard of them." Richard's fork clatters against his plate. "What do you mean?" "I know every reputable pediatric nursing agency in the city. Elite childcare isn't one of them." Dr. Grant leans forward, lowering her voice. Richard, where exactly did Maria Sullivan come from? The questions multiply in Richard's mind like cancer cells. Maria appeared so quickly after his call. Her references checked out perfectly. Her credentials seemed flawless. But now every detail feels manufactured, artificial. I need to make some phone calls, Richard says, standing abruptly. Be careful. If our suspicions are correct, confronting her directly could be dangerous. Richard's phone buzzes with a text message. Unknown number. The words make his blood freeze. Tommy is asking for you. Please come home immediately. Maria. She knows. Dr. Grab grabs his arm. Don't go alone. Call the police first. But Richard is already running toward the parking garage. Richard's Mercedes speeds through downtown traffic as he calls Detective James Miller. The police veteran's voice crackles through the car's speaker system. Red lights blur past like warnings in Richard's peripheral vision. I need officers at my house immediately, Richard says. 1247 Highland Avenue. What's the nature of the emergency, Mr. Carter? My son's nanny may be poisoning him. The line goes silent for 3 long seconds. Sir, that's a serious accusation. I have security footage, blood work being processed. She's not who she claims to be. Richard takes a sharp right turn, tires squealing against asphalt. Highland Avenue stretches ahead like a tunnel. His house sits at the end, its windows glowing warmly in the afternoon sun. Everything looks peaceful from the outside, normal, safe. Daddy's coming, Tommy, he whispers to the empty car. Detective Miller's voice cuts through his thoughts. Mr. Carter, are you listening? Wait for backup. Richard's phone goes silent as he turns into his driveway. The garage door opens with mechanical precision. Maria's car sits in its usual spot. Nothing seems out of place. Nothing seems wrong. Until he notices Tommy's bedroom window is covered with thick curtains.
The house feels tomb quiet as Richard enters through the garage. His Italian leather shoes whisper against marble flooring. The grandfather clock in the foyer chimes 2:30 p.m. 30 minutes until Tommy's scheduled doctor appointment. 30 minutes to uncover the truth. Maria? He called toward the staircase. I'm home early. No response. The elevator sits motionless between floors. Richard opts for the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. His heart pounds like a war drum against his ribs. The 3rd-floor hallway stretches ahead, lined with family portraits and antique furniture. Tommy, how are you feeling, buddy? Still nothing. Richard's hand trembles as he reaches for the nursery door handle. The brass feels ice cold against his palm. Through the crack beneath the door, he can see moving shadows. Hushed voices drift through the wood. Please, Maria, I want my daddy. Daddy's busy, sweetheart. He asked me to take extra special care of you today. The lie cuts through Richard like a blade. He presses his ear to the door, straining to hear more. Glass clinks against glass inside the room. Liquid pours into something metallic. Tommy whimpers softly. This will help you sleep, little one, forever and always. Richard's phone buzzes silently in his pocket. Text message from Detective Miller. 2 minutes out, but Tommy might not have 2 minutes left. Richard's shoulder crashes against the nursery door. The lock splinters as he bursts into the room. Maria spins around, dropping a syringe that shatters against the hardwood floor. Clear liquid spreads beneath Tommy's bed, like spilled tears. Richard, Maria's voice is honey-sweet despite the chaos. You're early. Tommy was just having his afternoon medication. Tommy lies motionless against the pillows, his eyes glassy and unfocused. A small bandage covers a fresh injection site on his arm. His breathing comes in short, irregular gasps. What did you give him? Richard demands. His prescribed antibiotics, of course. Nothing more. But the shattered syringe tells a different story. Richard kneels beside his son, checking for a pulse. Tommy's heartbeat feels weak and thready beneath his fingertips. His skin has taken on a bluish tinge. Tommy, can you hear Daddy? The child's eyelids flutter briefly. Tired, Daddy. So tired. Maria backs toward the window, her medical bag clutched tightly in her hands. Her calm mask finally slips, revealing something predatory beneath, something hungry and desperate. You don't understand, Richard. Tommy needs me. He's been calling for me in his dreams. Calling for you? Richard's voice rises with each word. He's 8 years old. Age doesn't matter when souls recognize each other. The delusion in her voice makes Richard's skin crawl. Sirens wail in the distance, growing closer. Detective Miller's voice echoes from the foyer below. Police! Mr. Carter! We're inside the house! Maria's eyes dart between Richard and the bedroom door. Her hand disappears into the medical bag, emerging with another prepared injection. The needle gleams like a silver fang in the afternoon sunlight. Stay back, Richard. Let me finish what I started. You're sick, Maria. Tommy needs a hospital, not whatever poison you're carrying. Poison? She laughs, but the sound comes out broken and hollow. I'm saving him from this world, from pain and disappointment and heartbreak. She takes a step closer to Tommy's bed. The boy stirs weakly, trying to focus on the approaching figure. His small hand reaches blindly for his father. Don't let her hurt me, Daddy. Richard positions himself between Maria and the bed. His hands spread wide, forming a human shield. You'll have to go through me first. That can be arranged. Maria raises the syringe like a weapon. Her thumb hovers over the plunger. One quick injection, and Richard would join his son in whatever chemical nightmare she's created. Heavy footsteps pound up the staircase. Detective Miller's voice grows closer. Third floor, west wing. They can't save him now, she whispers. It's already too late. But she's wrong. Tommy's eyes have cleared slightly, and his grip on Richard's hand grows stronger. Richard lunges forward as Maria swings the syringe toward Tommy. They collide beside the bed, crashing into the antique nightstand. Glass water pitcher explodes across the floor. Maria's medical bag spills its contents like dice across a gaming table. He's mine, Maria screams, clawing at Richard's face. He called to me. Richard pins her wrists as she thrashes beneath him. The syringe skitters across the hardwood, coming to rest beneath the window. Dozens of medication bottles roll in every direction. Some bear legitimate pharmacy labels. Others are unmarked, filled with unknown substances. Tommy Sullivan, Timothy Sullivan, Thomas Sullivan. Maria chants the names like a prayer. I've been looking for you for so long. The truth hits Richard like lightning. She believes Tommy is someone else, some lost child from her past. Her delusion has transformed his son into a replacement for whatever tragedy shaped her broken mind. Detective Miller appears in the doorway, weapon drawn. 2 uniformed officers flank him like bookends. Step away from the suspect, Mr. Carter. Richard rolls aside as the officers move in. Maria doesn't resist as they apply handcuffs. Her eyes remain fixed on Tommy's pale face. Tears stream down her cheeks like rivers of regret. I just wanted to keep him safe. Forever and always. Tommy's hand squeezes Richard's fingers. The boy's voice is weak, but clear. Is she going away now, Daddy? Yes, son. She's going away.
The emergency room buzzes with controlled chaos as medical staff rush Tommy into intensive care. Dr. Grant's hands move with practiced efficiency, inserting IV lines and attaching monitoring equipment. Numbers flash across digital displays like electronic heartbeats. His blood pressure is dangerously low, heart rate irregular. We need that toxicology report now. Richard stands pressed against the observation window, watching his son disappear beneath a tangle of wires and tubes. Tommy's skin looks translucent under the harsh fluorescent lights. Each breath requires visible effort. The results just came in, a lab technician says, handing Dr. Grant a manila folder. Dr. Grant's expression darkens as she scans the data. He's been systematically poisoned with digitalis, small doses over 2 weeks. Digitalis? Richard's voice cracks like breaking glass. It's derived from foxglove plants. In therapeutic doses, it treats heart conditions. In excessive amounts, Dr. Grant doesn't finish the sentence. Richard's knees buckle. He grabs the window frame for support. Will he survive? We're administering activated charcoal and specific antidotes, but the damage may be irreversible. Dr. Grant touches Richard's shoulder gently. The next 3 hours will tell us everything. 3 hours. Tommy has 3 hours to fight off weeks of accumulated poison. 3 hours for his small body to overcome Maria's twisted version of love.
Detective Miller's interview room smells like stale coffee and broken dreams. Maria sits handcuffed to a metal table, her white nursing uniform stained with tears. Her medical bag lies open before her like evidence of a crime scene. "Tell me about Tommy Sullivan," Detective Miller says. "He was my baby brother, 5 years old when the cancer took him." The detective's pen scratches against his notepad. "When did he die?" 37 years ago, October 15th. Maria's voice grows distant, lost in memory. "I promised I'd take care of him forever. I promised I'd never let him suffer again." "So you've been looking for him ever since?" "Not looking, finding. He keeps coming back to me. Different faces, different families, but always the same soul." Detective Miller slides a photograph across the table. It shows a young boy with Tommy's exact features, but the clothes and background suggest it was taken decades earlier. "This was in your apartment," Miller says. "Who is this?" "That's Timothy Walker. I cared for him in Boston 3 years ago." Maria traces the boy's face with her fingertip. "Leukemia took him before I could save him properly." "And before Timothy? Thomas Baker in Portland, Thomas Miller in Seattle. They all needed me." Her voice takes on an eerie sing-song quality. "And I failed them all." The pattern becomes clear. Maria has been hunting sick children for years, convinced they're reincarnations of her dead brother. Tommy's hospital room has become a battlefield between life and death. Machines beep in electronic harmony, while IV drips deliver antidotes into his bloodstream. Richard hasn't left his son's bedside in 6 hours. "Daddy?" Tommy's voice is barely audible above the medical equipment. "I'm here, buddy. Daddy's right here." "Am I going to die like Mommy did?" The question cuts through Richard's heart like a rusty blade. Tommy's mother passed away 2 years ago from sudden cardiac arrest. The boy has been terrified of death ever since. "No, son, you're going to get better. The doctors are taking excellent care of you." Tommy's small hand finds Richard's fingers. "The lady said she wanted to keep me safe forever." "She was sick, Tommy. Her mind was playing tricks on her. She showed me pictures of other boys. They all looked like me. She said they were waiting for me somewhere special." Dr. Grant appears in the doorway, her expression cautiously optimistic. "His vital signs are stabilizing. The antidotes are working." Relief floods through Richard like warm water. "He's going to get okay?" "It's too early for certainty, but the immediate crisis is passing." Dr. Grant checks Tommy's monitors. "His heart rhythm is normalizing." Tommy squeezes his father's hand weakly. "I want to go home, Daddy. Soon, buddy. Very soon." The clock on Tommy's hospital room wall shows 11:47 p.m., exactly the same time Maria made her first recorded visit. Richard sits in the uncomfortable plastic chair, watching his son sleep peacefully for the first time in weeks. Dr. Grant enters quietly, carrying Tommy's final test results. Her footsteps whisper against the linoleum floor. The hallway beyond buzzes with late-night medical activity. "How is he?" Richard asks without looking away from Tommy. "Remarkably resilient. His body has processed most of the digitalis. We'll keep him for observation, but full recovery is expected." Richard finally turns to face the doctor. "How close did we come to losing him?" Dr. Grant sits in the adjacent chair, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Another day or two of exposure would have caused permanent heart damage, possibly fatal arrhythmia." The words hang in the air like smoke from an extinguished candle. Richard's hands tremble as the full scope of Maria's plan becomes clear. She wasn't trying to cure Tommy. She was trying to kill him. Gently, lovingly, but killing him nonetheless. "Detective Miller called," Dr. Grant continues. "They found evidence of at least 6 other cases, 6 other families." 6 other children? 3 survived when parents became suspicious. 3 didn't. Tommy stirs in his sleep, mumbling incoherent words. His fever has broken completely, but the shadows under his eyes remain like bruises from a nightmare. The bedside monitor alarms suddenly, numbers flashing red across the screen. Richard's chair crashes backward as he lunges toward Tommy's bed. The boy's body convulses against the white sheets, his small hands clawing at the air. Foam appears at the corners of his mouth. "Get Dr. Grant!" Richard shouts toward the hallway. "Something's wrong!" Tommy's back arches impossibly high, his spine bending like a drawn bow. The heart monitor screams warnings as his pulse spikes beyond safe limits.
His eyes rolled back, showing only white crescents. "Daddy?" The word comes out as a strangled whisper. Dr. Grant bursts through the door, her medical team close behind. "Clear the bed! Possible seizure activity!" Richard stumbles aside as nurses surround his son. Hands move with practiced precision, checking vital signs and preparing emergency medications. The room fills with controlled chaos and urgent medical terminology. BP dropping rapidly, heart rate erratic. Possible delayed reaction to the digitalis. Prepare another antidote dose. Tommy's convulsions slow gradually, his small body finally relaxing against the pillows. His breathing returns to normal, but his skin remains pale as moonlight. Dr. Grant presses her stethoscope to his chest, listening intently to his heartbeat. "False alarm," she announces after an eternity. "Night terrors combined with residual toxin effects." Richard collapses back into his chair, his legs unable to support his weight. Will there be more episodes? Possibly. His system is still fighting the poison. But Tommy's eyes flutter open, focusing clearly on his father's face. "I'm okay, Daddy. The scary dreams are gone." The morning sun streams through Tommy's hospital window as Detective Miller delivers his final report. Maria Sullivan has confessed to 6 cases of child endangerment across 4 states. Her delusional belief that sick children were reincarnations of her dead brother drove her to mercy killings, disguised as medical care. She'll spend the rest of her life in psychiatric custody, Miller explains. The families of her other victims have been notified. Richard holds Tommy's hand as the boy eats his first solid meal in weeks. Color has returned to the child's cheeks. His laughter echoes through the hospital room like music after a long silence. "When can we go home?" asks Tommy. "Tomorrow morning," Dr. Grant promises, "but with a new security system and very careful screening for any future caregivers." Richard nods, understanding the weight of his responsibility. His wealth couldn't protect Tommy from Maria's twisted love. Only vigilance and parental instinct saved his son's life. Tommy looks up from his breakfast, syrup sticky on his fingers. "Daddy, will you read to me tonight, like before Mommy went away?" "Every night, buddy. Forever and always." The phrase that once chilled Richard now carries warmth and genuine promise. Some pledges are born from madness, others spring from the deepest wells of love. The difference lies not in the words themselves, but in the heart that speaks them. A parent's love protects. It doesn't consume. It nurtures life rather than stealing it away.